welcome back to the Gentle Machine. Here we spend time with the systems and technology that quietly shape our days and nights. The ones that work in the background, not asking for our attention or minding when they're ignored. There's nothing you need to understand all at once. Ideas arrive here at their own pace. They settle and move on, perhaps without even leaving a trace. So if you're here just to listen for a while, that's enough. Let's begin. When we hear the word robot, many of us imagine the same thing. A metallic body, arms and legs, a voice, something that walks and talks like a person, a shape that is familiar. But most robots do not look like that. Most robots do not speak. And many of them never move at all. Their forms are designed for function, not for conversation. A robot is not defined by its shape. It is defined by what it does. It is defined by a simple loop. In its simplest form, a robot is a machine that can sense something, decide what to do next, and act on that decision, and then repeat the process. Sense, decide, act. This loop is its entire world. This is what separates a robot from a tool. A tool has no loop. A hammer does not sense the nail. It does not decide to swing. A tool waits. A robot responds. Consider, if you will, a coffee maker. It heats water. It pours. It stops. But it only does this when asked, when a button is pressed. It does not notice much about its surroundings. It does not know if a cup is there. It does not adjust. It does not repeat the process unless someone returns. It is an automated machine, not a robot exactly. A refrigerator comes a little closer. It senses temperature. It decides to cool the air. It acts by turning itself on and off, maintains a stable state over time. It has a loop, but it does not move, does not change its goals, does not act beyond that narrow loop. Regulates but does not explore. Robots usually begin where movement and sensing meet, where action changes the world in a small way. A robotic arm on a factory floor senses position and adjusts its motion. Repeats the same action thousands of times without hesitation, without weariness. A robot vacuum senses walls, edges, and open space. It decides on a new path. It acts by changing direction. It remembers where it has already been. A gentle map of its own small world. None of these robots wonder why they are moving. They are not aware of their purpose. They do not feel the floor beneath them. They simply follow a loop, a pathway made of instructions. Sense, decide, act. Again and again. Some robots work alone, in quiet solitude. Some work in groups, a silent dance of coordinated movement. Some move objects, some move themselves. Some stay in one place forever. They do not compete. They do not compare. There is no ambition in their circuits. Each does only the work it was designed to do. Many people ask whether robots think for themselves, if they have a mind of their own. Most do not. They do not reason, or imagine, or reflect. Their actions are calculations. Some robots adjust their behavior based on experience. They learn from their loop. Some can choose between a small number of options. A simple fork in their path. But even then, the choices are bounded. They do not wake up wanting something new. This is where robots differ from artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence works with patterns in information. Robots work with patterns in movement. They learn from the physical world. Sometimes the two overlap. Often they do not. A robot can move without thinking, and a system can think without moving at all. One is a body, the other is a mind. Robots also differ in how independent they are. Some require constant human supervision. A steady hand guiding their action. Some wait patiently for instructions, ready for a single command. Some operate for hours on their own, following their loop without interruption. Many robots know how to stop. They are designed for stillness. They return to charging stations. They power down. They enter standby. They do not resist rest. Rest is part of their programming. If conditions change, they pause. If an obstacle appears, they wait. If something goes wrong, they stop moving. This is not failure. It is design. It is safety. Robots are built to do work so that humans do not have to. So that our bodies do not have to repeat the same movements again and again. They take on motion. Not intention, not desire. And when there is nothing to do, they become still. A perfect, peaceful stillness. Stillness for a robot is not the absence of purpose. It is part of the loop. When a robot stops moving, it has not reached an ending. It has reached a holding state. Motors power down. Sensors remain quietly attentive. Systems stay awake, but unoccupied. Nothing inside the robot feels relief. Nothing feels impatience. There is no sense of waiting for something to begin. This kind of stillness has no emotional weight. It is neutral, balanced, complete. In warehouses, robots line up neatly when their tasks are finished. They return to marked places on the floor, aligning themselves with quiet precision. Each one settles into position, not because it is tired, but because the work no longer requires motion. In factories, Robotic arms pause between cycles. They hold their posture perfectly, suspended in readiness. Not tense, not slack, just exact. In homes, small robots dock themselves against walls or charging stations. They connect, draw power slowly. They do not rush the process. Charging is not an act of urgency, it is maintenance. A robot does not wonder how long it will be still. It does not measure the pause. It simply exists in a state where action is possible but not required. This is something robots do very well. They do not fill empty time with motion. They do not create tasks where none exist. They do not mistake stillness for failure. If conditions are not right, they wait. If information is incomplete, they pause. If a signal does not arrive, they remain exactly where they are. Nothing urges them forward, nothing pulls them back. The world, as far as the robots are concerned, is stable until it changes. And when it does change, the loop remains. A sensor may detect a difference. A number shifts. A threshold is crossed. Only then does the movement return. Only then does the action reappear. There is no memory of the pause, no record of the stillness as something endured. It was simply part of the system, doing what it was designed to do. In this way, robots model a strange kind of calm, not because they are peaceful, but because they are untroubled. They do not carry momentum forward when it is no longer needed. They stop cleanly. And when the moment arrives, they begin again, just as cleanly. All around us, robots are already working. In places we do not see, they assemble, they sort, they clean, they carry, they assist. Most of the time, we do not notice them. They are quiet helpers. And that is the point. Robots are successful when they fade into the background. When movement happens without drawing attention. When tasks complete themselves. When nothing needs to be watched. Their purpose is to be forgotten. So we can focus on other things, A robot does not replace a human. It replaces repetition. It replaces the strain of doing the same thing in the same way forever. And when the repetition ends, the robot waits, quiet, ready, unconcerned. Inside the robot, there is no feeling, and there is no quiet satisfaction of a job well done. There is only a stream of data, a flow of information from sensors, light, heat, pressure, sound. A constant whisper of the world, translated into numbers. It does not see with eyes. It sees with a gentle touch of a laser. A beam of light measuring distance in silence. It does not feel with skin. It feels with pressure sensors. A whisper of contact, a change in force, enough to know it has arrived, enough to know it must stop. These numbers are fed into the robot's processor, a labyrinth of logic gates and pathways. Here, the world is reduced to pure, simple logic. There is no room for doubt, no space for hesitation. If a number is high, do this. If it is low, do that. A perfect, clean process, untouched by emotion. The accuracy is exact, but it is not experienced. The movement is precise, but it is not known. Yet the robot does not recognize success, but it does notice mistakes. There is no pride in alignment, and no disappointment in correction. Precision exists here without awareness of being precise. And so, the robot does its part. It takes the noisy, repetitive parts of our world and makes them quiet. The clatter of a factory smoothed into a gentle hum. The endless sorting of tiny pieces, done with a patience humans could never possess. And that's where we'll pause for now. The robots will continue working quietly, adjusting without fuss, doing only what is needed, and nothing more. Nothing here needs to be carried forward. Nothing I've told you needs to be remembered precisely. Systems remain, patterns hold, loops continue, whether you're paying attention or not. Thank you for spending this time with me, for letting things slow just a little. The gentle machine will come back to you soon. Until next time, take care of yourself.